We are live. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite truck driver, ex-truck driver in the whole wide world. It's Bitcoin Ben and his partner in laptops and laying on the beach, drinking drinks and laying by the pool, drinking drinks. Notice how drinking drinks pretty well follows us around. Patrick, good morning, brother. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, brother.
Excellent.
You are actually going to leave work a little early this morning and go out and
Climb in a
shoot
tree.
Bambi.
I'm going to climb in a tree. Yes,
All
sir.
right. See,
Yes,
I encourage this because Patrick always has like a sausage left over or something like. He'll throw me a couple of things of actual deer sausage, and I love deer sausage. It's one of my faves. Oh,
Very
what are your plans this weekend, brother?
good. Just going out, hanging out in the woods, doing what I can to keep the herd healthy. So and hang out with a bunch of friends. So yeah, family and friends.
Sweet, good. I'm glad. I'm very, very glad. Now, everybody, today's show. Oh, I forgot the banner. I'm so good at this. All right, everybody. Today's show is going to be a deep dive into what is going on behind the scenes with how quickly this is all moving. Now, as you can see, I got on my pink banana shirt and it blends in well with this graphic. As you recognize, this is the Mastercard logo. Now, the reason that I'm bringing up Mastercard is I don't think people understand how quickly this shift is coming. And when I say shift, let me give you a little history here. As we all know, the world is in this great reset, that everyone's talking about, but nobody's talking about. All they say is great reset. They never give any details, right? Now, what is going on right now over in Europe is a meeting of the minds. The name of the event is the New Economy Forum. Look that up and give that a watch for a while. Very interesting. But what I want to talk about today is Mastercard and the announcement that Amazon will no longer accept Visa over in the UK as of January 17th. Seems like a kind of random plucking day, doesn't it? Wouldn't they just choose like, hey, January 1, we're not going to accept UK visas. Now, the reason they give is their fees are too high. Oh my!
What about Amex?
Or the Discover card.
Well, Amex is off the chart in terms of their merchant fees. Yeah.
One of the reasons I wanted to bring Patrick on here is that Patrick has experience in credit card. Give a little history of your past employment in this
Sure,
industry.
sure. Right. In 1990, I worked for a place called First Card, which was the credit card subsidiary of the First National Bank of Chicago. It ultimately became part of Chase Bank, J.P. Morgan Chase. They were bought up in '99, I think it was, and we were the branch of the bank that actually saved their ass every year. They treated us like the crazy aunt, the harlot aunt that they kept in the basement, and they'd take a check from us at Christmas time, but wouldn't invite us over for Thanksgiving dinner. Anyway, I worked in analysis and product management there, and ended up going down to coming down to St. Louis. That's how I got here to work for a place called Mercantile Bank, managing their marketing, the credit card portfolio. Did that for a couple of years, and Mercantile Bank became part of U.S. Bank. So either way, yeah. And so I had quite a bit of exposure to the economics of credit cards at that point. Yeah,
Exactly. So Patrick knows the world that I'm about to talk about. Now, the reason this is important, and I'm going to share some screens with you guys, all right, is, hang on a second, scroll over here. All right, there we go. Share. All right, now, as I break this down, you guys are going to, you're going to get a gist of what I'm talking about. Now, remember, Visa is an American company.
out of San Francisco.
Huh?
Out of San Francisco.
Yep, out of San Francisco. Now, Mastercard evolved out of oh God, what was that?
I can see
That's
it.
huh?
I can see the logo.
Yeah, it the roots of Mastercard go way back, way back, and but what I want to talk about here is Lightning Labs. Now, Lightning Labs is the company that created the Lightning Network, that the Bitcoin, it's the second layer.
Master charge.
Yes, the second layer for how the Bitcoin is going to scale. Now, Taproots that was just implemented last week on the Bitcoin protocol is the last thing that they've been waiting for in order to implement the Lightning Network in a certain way so that MasterCard can overlay itself onto the Lightning Network. So basically, what MasterCard is going to do is replace its underlying structure that it's on right now and replace it with the Lightning Network. Now, let's jump right in here. All right. Hang on. This gal right here. This is the CEO of Lightning Labs. I have met her. I have talked to her. Now, she's interesting, but this guy here is even more interesting. All right. This is the CTO and co-founder of Lightning Labs. This guy, all right, was a software engineer intern at Google at the same time Charlie Lee was at Google. Now, some of you may not have heard some of my ideas on Charlie Lee and MIT and Google. Now, let's move along right here. So this is the Lightning Labs team. Now, mind you, Lightning Labs is a corporation. All right. Let's jump over here real quick and look at some recent news. This was put out on October 25th. Remember that date, October 25th, 2021. Report: Mastercard plans to allow merchants to accept Bitcoin payments. Let's go to the next one. This one is October 25th. Mastercard expands cryptocurrency services with wallets and loyalty rewards. Now, this one here, November 8th, Mastercard launches its Bitcoin payment cards in Asia Pacific. Now, how long do you think Mastercard has been involved with Bitcoin? Let's see. Credit card giant Mastercard files for 4 new blockchain patents. This was November 29th, 2016. Now, this article was changed September 11th, 2021. Let's fast forward a little bit. Now, Mastercard, CIBC, New York Life joined Digital Currency Group funding round. Now, you guys know how I feel about the Digital Currency Group, and I'll dive in more to that. Right? This article here is October 27th, 2015. 2015. Mastercard has been named as one of 11 investors in the Digital Currency Group's new funding round. Now, who is the Digital Currency Group? Now, there are a lot of regular team members and all that. But who are the board members? Don't look at the team members. Look at the board members. We got Barry Silbert. Of course, he's the face of the company. But who's behind Barry?
Barry.
Now, Glenn Hutchins. I've known this guy for years now. Let's just read off his little, who the hell am I? Glenn Hutchins is a chairman of North Islands and a co-founder of Silver Lake. He is a director of AT&T and of Virtue Financial, co-chairman of Brookings Institute and CARE, if you know who CARE is. He's also on the executive committee of the Boston Celtics and the Obama Foundation, and a board member of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, the New York Presbyterian Hospital, and the Center for American Progress. He is also a member of the investment board of Singapore's Government Investment Corporation. Look them up. Previously, Mr. Hutchins served President Clinton as a special advisor on economics, health, and healthcare policy. All right. Interesting. Now, who is this guy? Who is how do you pronounce his name, Patrick? Is it Marcelo? Marcelo?
I can't see it.
Okay.
I'm old. Remember, my eyes are bad.
That's right. Let me pull this up a full screen. All right. This is the CEO of a company called Soft Bank. All right. This, all you need to do is look up Soft Bank, and you'll understand who this guy is. Now, who is a board advisor? Oh, looky here. Lawrence H. Summers. This guy here, neck deep in the progressive movement. He worked with President Obama. I'm pretty sure he was the head economic advisor for Obama, and he worked with the Federal Reserve. Now, we remember Mastercard invested in Digital Currency Group in 2015. Mastercard. All right. So let's see who Mastercard is. Now, this is the board of directors of Mastercard. Now, all of these people here are very interesting. Now, mind you, they're all progressives. Basically means communist.
Who's that?
Huh?
Never mind. I'll look it up.
Okay. Now, the guy.
There's somebody on that board that I thought I recognized.
The one guy on here that you really want to pay attention to, all right, is Jackson. I'm sure that's his real name. Jackson Hi, who is Jackson Ty? Former vice chairman of CEO DBS and DBS Bank Limited. Now, what do they leave off of this little short who am I type of guy? They leave off that he was on the board of the Bank of China. Do you think that's pretty relevant? Because anybody who knows anything about the Bank of China, there's not a board member on the Bank of China who isn't in the leadership of the Chinese Communist Party. And from what I can tell, this guy here has been a director longer than anyone else on the board of Mastercard since September 2008. The rest of these people have not. A few of them have been on the board for, maybe 4, maybe 3, maybe 5, maybe 6 years. That guy's been on the board for like 12, almost 14 years. There is some, and the reason I bring this all up is that Mastercard, all of these people, right? All of these fine people, including our communist friend here, all right, they chose, because remember, if Patrick, let me know if I got this right. Would the board of directors, would they actually be involved in funding would they have a vote or an opinion on who they invest in?
It depends on how it's set up. More times than not, the answer is no. That they relinquish that decision to the senior officers, the executive committee. More times than not, that's how that goes. They don't dabble in those types of things. They will get involved in policy decisions about an organization, but unless it directly involves the percentage of ownership in the company itself, these guys won't touch it.
Okay, but do you think that they might have in?
Oh, sure. Yeah, they will talk to the board about this. I mean, there'll be discussions that take place in terms of quarterly or annual planning sessions where these guys divulge what their plans are, what they're doing, because they have to walk the board through the actual execution of the business plans and justifications for the budgets that they have. So these guys are given the information, whether they're actually there or not. physically. That's more times than not. It's remote now, but um, yeah, they are privy to what's taking place. Certainly. Now you try to hide that stuff from them, all hell's going to break loose. So,
Right.
and as you can imagine, these guys are all of them being on the board are very attuned to the nuances in language when somebody's trying to uh, pass a fast one on them. Not not gonna not gonna fly here, especially if somebody is a card carrying member of the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah.
If you don't think they can smell out a rat from a mile away with what you're saying, then you're sadly mistaken. He's still alive.
Exactly. See, that's so the Mastercard board of directors would have gotten some type of report or, hey, heads up, this is part of our next quarter plan, you know, that we as a company, we're going to invest in another company that at the time of investment was this big. All right. The digital currency group had just gotten going in 2014. Now, shout out to my friend, Mr. Bix Weir, because Digital Currency Group, whenever MasterCard and New York Life and all this joined the Digital Currency Group funding round, the head honcho or one of the head honchos at Digital Currency Group was a woman named Blythe Masters. Oh yeah, you know her. She's the gal who basically screwed every single person who ever owns silver.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's why Bix Weir hates Blythe Masters.
He has a voodoo doll of her, doesn't he?
He does, yes. So
Several.
yeah, no doubt. This when MasterCard, now you have to understand the digital currency group in 2015, when this was going on, they had only been around since, let's see, they launched in like early 2015. So they had only been around for maybe 6 or 7 months. Blythe Masters was one of the original people at the Digital Currency Group. And so, isn't it odd? Think about it. You're a little cryptocurrency startup in 2015. The majority of the world doesn't even know what the fuck a Bitcoin is. But yet, we have MasterCard. We have Blythe Masters. We have members of the Communist Party of China, which there's other members in MasterCard. I just didn't point them out. that guy was the highest representative I could find that was on the board of the Bank of China. So, do you think way back in 2015 that Mastercard didn't have a plan? That they didn't have, say, maybe a 10, maybe a 5-year to 8-year plan? Because why would Mastercard invest in Digital Currency Group? Then, mind you, right after that whole investment round went in, that's when Mastercard also started funding Lightning Labs. So this whole underlying replacing the network, this has been going on for years. This has been planned out for years, replacing the SWIFT system, because remember, the new technology that the Federal Reserve launched, called the FedNow system, it is almost a carbon copy of the Lightning Network. Uses the same protocol, the same language. Everything is almost a carbon copy of the Lightning Network. In fact, if I recall correctly, the FedNow system protocol actually has the SegWit code in it. Segregated witness. So that the new Fed coin can run on the Lightning Network. Remember, segregated witness is you have to have that code in your coin in order to run on the Lightning Network. So why does the Federal Reserve, why does the FedNow system they're building, why does it have segregated witness as part of the code? Because Mastercard, and they're basically replacing, and I've said this for years, they're replacing the SWIFT system with the Lightning Network system. And this is all part of the bigger plan of the Great Reset. See, the global elites, they don't hate the Bitcoin. They don't hate any of this. They just want to run the networks that they're on. But, like I've said, the great split. This is where the progressives go this way. The freedom people go this way. But they will interact with each other, because although there's a lot of people that are progressives using the Lightning Network. The Lightning Network is decentralized, just like the Bitcoin network is decentralized. It's just who's going to run the larger nodes of the Lightning Network. See, my idea is this. Mastercard is going to capitalize their internal system with a bunch of Bitcoin. Every Mastercard point of sale is going to run a Lightning node.
Terminal?
Yes. And all these websites are going to run Lightning nodes. Amazon will have a Lightning node through Mastercard. Now, let's not forget NYDIG, right? NYDIG is the New York company that is partnered with all of these apps for all of these banks. They're implementing the Lightning Network in all of the apps for your local bank. My friend, this all goes down to one thing. They're replacing the US dollar as the world reserve currency, and they know it, and they're fine with it, with the Bitcoin protocol. Because they, mind you, they have people heard lately how many people in the Middle East own friggin' Bitcoin? How many people in global government own some Bitcoin? The Great Reset is greater than people realize. We are this is a fundamental change. And this leads to what is going on in El Salvador. This links with climate change. This links with the dream of the Communist Party. But at the same time, this creates a system that capitalists love too. One of the planks of the Communist Manifesto is a central banking system. You gotta have it. You gotta have a central banking system. What is the Bitcoin? It is, now mind you, everything's got a good side and a bad side. The communists love the Bitcoin because it is literally, whether the rich win or the poor win, they're all in the same savings mechanism. So if everybody's reserve is actual Bitcoin, that is one global savings account. And now think of El Salvador. If you're going to issue a carbon tax credit or a carbon taxing system, think about the Bitcoin in El Salvador. They are creating the global reserve currency directly from energy. There's no labor in the middle. There's the miners are owned by the government. They are directly taking natural resources and converting electricity into currency. And this is going to go on all over the world. If you're a one world government, how do you tax energy production? And how do you track it? If energy is creating currency, then it is being recorded on the blockchain. If you know who's creating the Bitcoin, you know who to tax on a global scale. You know exactly how much energy they're using. This is evolving into, but yet, fear not, my friends. Do not be worried about this because I'll tell you why. Because although the Bitcoin is the dream of the communists, it's also the dream of the capitalists. Because the Bitcoin is absolutely an Austrian economics dream come true. It is a value added currency that cannot be manipulated. Austrian economics people love Bitcoin. Michael Saylor, he's a capitalist. Love Bitcoin. You know why? Because it's Austrian economics at its purest. Bitcoin does not leak economic energy. You've heard him say that. So you have a global currency reserve that the communists love and the capitalists love. My friends, but what the communists don't understand, because they never think that far ahead, the Bitcoin is going to wind up destroying their social structure. but they don't think that deep, which is okay. The point of this video is hold the hell on. Hodl. Because for the next year and a half, 2 years, actually more than that, for the next 6 years, the Bitcoin is going to absorb and represent the world GDP, and also at the same time represent the new GDP. What's the new GDP? The metaverse GDP. Who in the world is going to claim that GDP? Because there's going to be economic activity in these metaverses. Which country can claim that GDP? Patrick?
What's that? Which
would you agree that the metaverse and these omniverses and all this virtual reality and all that, what country or how would a country claim that GDP?
Can't.
Right.
Can't. I mean, they'll certainly try, but they can't. These cryptocurrencies have no borders. There's no GPS on where the transaction took place because it took place out there.
Exactly. So they need a global currency that can represent and be pointed to as a GDP. Now, mind you, this is years from now. This is 10 years where the growth of purchasing power with the Bitcoin will be pointed as the global GDP. They'll point at friggin' Bitcoin and go, the Earth economic growth last year was X. How do we determine that? Because we're looking at Bitcoin as the GDP. Because it will be the currency of the reserve currency of the metaverse, the omniverse, and the earth. It's the only currency that can interact amongst all of them, but yet not be controlled by any of them. It's the only thing that makes sense. You can't interact the omniverse with gold. How the hell are you going to send it? And people and companies and corporations in the metaverse, they're not going to accept the US coin, especially if they're inflating it. It's what I've been saying for years. We'll have a US digital coin You'll have a Chinese digital coin. They'll be used inside the countries. But the global reserve currency will be Bitcoin because it's the only thing that you can use in all of the forms of the economy. HODL.
Not just HODL. Go out and buy some of that shit today. I mean,
Yeah,
Phil was joking. Woohoo! We just hit 58K. But I was out last night. I was like, yeah, not a fan of the Rothschilds, but they were right. Buy when there's blood in the streets. So
exactly. Yeah, it's so you've heard my whole fucking 50-minute ramble here.
what watch you looking at? Because it's been longer than that.
Oh, has it? No, I don't even know.
No, that's all right. You're dead on. I think you're dead on. Yeah.
What am I missing here?
I don't think you're missing anything, and the fact that you tied in the social ramifications from the architects of these moves has not been taken into consideration in terms of the leapfrogging that's going to occur from those who have invested in cryptocurrencies. And it's going to become exposed that, and more common for people to get involved in it. So more chains come off, I agree wholeheartedly. And I think that's probably one of the biggest linchpins in all of this is the freedom that's going to end up coming from it. They can't control this. Genie's out of the bottle. Toothpaste is out of the tube. Can't put it back in. Yeah.
I completely agree. Holy moly, it's Friday. That was a deep... I feel sorry for anybody not involved in cryptocurrency.
Right.
This is such a shift. Humans have never went through this type of transition. In the old days, when an old currency died, you just melted down the silver, recoined the silver or whatever, you put the new coin out of the new leaders or the new country or whatever, and voila, you're off and running.
Well, you're absolutely right in terms of the change that's come about and the speed with which it's come about. But it's not going to slow down.
No.
There was a book out in, I want to say it was in the 80s, called Echo Spasms, and it talked about how much more quickly economic events are going to occur, and it was pretty foretelling. I don't think they had this in mind, but it's going to happen faster and faster. So you're going to have to be on your toes.
Absolutely. In fact, that's what I talked about on my Wednesday evening show, was how just last month there were some futurists and some CEOs who actually came out and said, look, we're on the precipice. We're here. We just produced this new microchip that takes the old microchip, from like 2 years ago. And this new microchip is 1,000,000 times faster than the last microchip they produced. And he said in his keynote presentation, and he showed a chart, and it's like, you can see it. Then it was this year, and it went straight up. And he said, what took us a month last year takes us a quarter of a second this year.
Right. But you go back and look at other advances in technology. I mean, 50 years ago, you had computers that took up a room in order to operate relatively simple functions compared to what's going on today. Now, I mean, what's in here is far greater than what took up the size of a room before.
Yeah.
It's it's phenomenal. It's not incremental. It's exponential.
What really blew my mind, and you guys look this up, and look up 2021 NVIDIA CEO computer learning, and listen to how this guy explains that this new hardware they're putting out and is already available and is being used for the metaverse, how this will or is creating millions of identical Earths in the omniverse. So there are millions of Earths, and they're all running quantum programs on these new microchips that now that we have mapped the DNA of humans, and we have so many points of information all over the globe, that they're now launching software that is teaching software how to create software. And they are, and these are his words, might not be an exact quote, but these are his words. Within a year and a half to 2 years, we will have robots walking around the cities of the world that have learned how to be robots in millions of metaverses. The software is right now running on digital versions of Earth, and there are robots in those digital versions of Earth that are running millions and millions of hypotheticals, situations to learn how to be robots on Earth, so that these robotics companies, they don't have to actually test their robots in real world. They test and train their robots in these omniverses and in these metaverses so that when they load the programming on into the hardware of their robots, they're already done. They don't have to test them out in the real world. They've already done it. Patrick, how do you feel about a peace officer robot?
I'm sorry, Dave. I cannot let you do that. It's a reference back to the movie 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah,
Disconcerting at best. At best.
yeah.
Yeah. We're going to defund the police and get robots in there instead.
Well, that's because one of the producers of these robots made it a point to point out that the shell of the robot is bulletproof. Why would you say that? Why would that be a selling feature? Hey, don't worry. It's bulletproof. Is it Chevy proof?
Is it EMP proof? I don't know.
Yeah. We're going into some weird ass times, Patrick.
We were already in weird ass times, but yeah, we are. Yeah.
I think you need to speed up the work out on the farm a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, give Patrick about a year and his piece of property is going to resemble Vietnam 1973 American camp where it has like that net over it so helicopters can't see through it. They're going to fly over it and be like, nope, just regular land down there.
Well, yeah. I'm sure they're not going to have FLIR on those helicopters either.
Yeah. And some of the drones, I'm actually thinking, I'll admit, I'm one of those guys who I actually buy shit just so I own it. We have an engraver I still gotta unpack right out here. I want one of those really good drones that like fly like a few miles away. I want to get one of those so we can go out. Think about it, Patrick. You take that thing hunting, you have it hover like 1,000 feet up in the air. You can see where the deer be, buddy.
No, they need a sporting chance. No, won't do that.
You're old school.
I am.
I don't blame you. That's fair. Now, see me, I will F-16 them motherfuckers. I'll drop fucking what do you call them? Napalm on them.
Napalm, yeah. Well, yeah. You're not going to be able to make much sausage out of that.
No, yeah, and the rack probably wouldn't survive either.
No.
Damn it. Oh, well. All right, Patrick, over the last week, what have you seen in cryptocurrencies, or what have you read that has really like piqued your interest? Because you've actually been slammed, and I I'm just wondering what you've seen lately on
Um, I
the.
haven't had an awful lot of time, but I've been checking out some of the things in the NFT sectors, more from the perspective of the coins that are going to probably end up being successful. Sandbox is one. Um, Decentraland is another. And I've come across a couple of folks that I respect in terms of opinions who are echoing that. Um, so yesterday I went out and got a little, just cause, um, just to see where it's going to end up taking us. And um, I know there are folks out there saying that NFTs are going to make us millionaires. Well, that's a little excessive. Um, make us better off, certainly, but those are the two that seem to percolate to the top, um, from the gaming perspective. Um, anyway, that's what I've come across, that I find interesting. I also had somebody told me there's a new coin out there. They're interested in investing in Bitcoin and urethra. Um, urethra is not a coin. I'm saying this for Randy so that his dad doesn't get all excited and start talking about, oh, I got to get some of that urethra coin, son. How am I going to get that?
Where's my urethra coin?
Yeah, Dad, that's what the catheter's for, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to keep a straight face while I'm talking to this cat on the phone. It was pretty funny. But we all do it. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. Mispronunciations of a ton of crap. And that's probably because I run my mouth so much. But
It living in the cryptocurrency world, there's so many projects out there that, you know,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have 14,500 coins right now. And in January of this year, there were 8,700 coins. That's phenomenal growth. That is absolutely phenomenal growth. And I go back to, hey, if I'm people asking if I'm late to this, I mean that in and of itself is proof that you're not. Is every one of those going to be a winner? Hell no. But still, I think we have 430 exchanges. We had under 300 in January.
yeah.
And the exchanges are obviously more time consuming and costly to create than a coin is, but still.
It's crazy how many more exchanges we have now.
Mm-hmm.
When you and I jumped in to cryptocurrency in America, there were only like Coinbase, Kraken, and Gemini.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
There wasn't no, and Coinbase only had Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah.
They hadn't even listed Litecoin yet when we got in.
Right.
And now, good Lord, there's Cash App, there's, freaking Binance, there's all these, freaking Mastercard is gonna allow people who own Mastercards to buy Bitcoin. We remember a few years ago with if you had a bank account and you were linked with Coinbase, that your bank would close your damn
Oh
account.
yeah. Oh yeah.
We
It was,
also
it was,
for you.
yeah, yeah. It was as bad as trying to use your Chase card to buy ammunition is now. I mean,
Oh, I know. Oh, that's a whole nother topic.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, folks, it's Friday. Patrick is actually going hunting here in a few hours. I'm probably going to try and leave a little early. Me and the wife grab lunch, and we're we will be right back at it next Monday. Patrick,
Yes, sir.
the laptops, where and how can people get a hold of the laptops? And while you're talking about it, I will go over here.
And run the commercial. You can get a hold of us at info@calixsolutions.io. The website is calixsolutions.io. You can order them online. You can order the PC, either the Lenovo or the Dell, or the Mac, which is the MacBook Air. You have a choice of getting the basic selection, which has 4 wallets, Atomic, Exodus, Divi, and Theta. On 4, and you can add extras to that too. There's a box that allows you to add extras. And then there's 4 exchanges, which is Coinbase, Gemini, BitTrue, and drawing a blank on the last one, but and you can add to that. You're not stuck using those 4. And then there's a custom. You can go in there and select 15 different exchanges and 6 different wallets.
Yep.
Anyway, we have a pretty quick turnaround time. It's taken about 4 to 5 business days to get them out, and I'm padding that just because of the rush that we've had lately. We have inventory. We know that we're going to be running into a buzzsaw here, meaning Christmas.
Yep.
So jump on it if you're thinking about doing it. The phone number is 702-845-8276. You can call us there. You can text us. I'd prefer email at info@calixsolutions.io because I have arthritic fingers and can't text all that well. Some of you folks are just absolute masters in the text that we get and the length. If you were paid by the pound and the number of words that you text us, you wouldn't need cryptos. Anyway, we're here. So give us a shout. Let us know what we can do for you. All right. Questions are always welcome. So
Absolutely. And hope you guys, if you're thinking about getting a crypto only laptop for like Christmas or like something like that, you better order now because laptops alone are going to be hard to find this Christmas. We've already piled up on inventory just to actually get us through Christmas.
there,
So,
yeah. And I will say this: we've been doing our best to make sure that the PC laptops are 15.6 inches. That inventory is drying up, so we may find ourselves going to the 14-inch screens. Still the same size in terms of RAM and the
yeah,
solid state drive, and the processors are all at least an i5. So as that goes, it's a great machine, but screen size, if that's an issue for you, you're gonna have to move. So
yep. All right.
All right.
Everyone have a great day. And although Patrick loves getting emails, I love hearing the phone ring. Because I know Patrick's going to be like, hello?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So give him a call or send him an email at 702-845-8276. Operators waiting now or standing by, whatever. Everyone have a great day. Love you guys. Patrick, love you.
Love you. Adios.
And we will see you guys on Monday.
Have a great weekend, everyone.